Alright, in this video we're just going to quickly review factoring a trinomial. So let's say you had x squared minus 5x minus 14 and you wanted to factor this. So the first thing we notice is that there's a coefficient of 1 in front of x squared. That's going to make this the easy case. We just look at negative 14 and we try to figure out the two factors that add to get negative 5. And so that ends up being 2 and 7, and the 7 must be negative because if 2 minus 7 is negative 5, if the negative was the other way around, that would actually equal positive 5. So then we're going to go ahead and write our two parentheses. We know an x goes here, an x goes there, and then these two numbers right here, plus 2 minus 7. Those are our two factors. Easy way to check is just to multiply it back out. X times x, that equals x squared. X times negative 7 is negative 7x. 2 times x is plus 2x. If you notice, both of those equal negative 5x. And then 2 times negative 7, that equals negative 14. That's how you factor a trinomial when the coefficient in front of x squared is just 1. Okay, if you have a coefficient in front of x squared, such as in this case 6, here we have the trinomial 6x squared minus 6 minus 2, we're just going to do just a few extra steps here. Okay, but it's still not going to be too hard. This time we're going to multiply 6 times negative 2, that gives me negative 12, and I'm still trying to find the factors that add, in this case, to make negative 1, still the middle term. And so I know that 3 and 4 are a difference of 1. They need to multiply to negative 12. One of them needs to be negative, one of them needs to be positive. In order to make negative 1, the 4 needs to be negative. So these are my two numbers. Now, the extra step here is we're going to have to rewrite the middle term, minus 1x, into plus 3x minus 4x. And now what we're going to do is grouping. So I'm going to take the first two terms and I'm going to think, okay, what is the GCF? What is the greatest common factor? So I have a 3. I can factor out from both, and an x. And factoring out is just like dividing out. So when I factor out a 3 from 6, I'm left with 2, and then I'm also left with one of the x's. When I factor out 3x from 3x, it's not nothing, it's 1. Okay, now I'm going to look at the second group. I see a negative, so I factor out a negative. The GCF of the next group then is negative 2. So I divide both terms by negative 2, and I get 2x and then plus 1. Now notice here that 2x minus 1 here is the same as 2x plus 1 is the same as this 2x plus 1. That'll always happen if you're doing this correctly. Okay, that's actually one of your factors, 2x plus 1. The other factor comes from when you group this 3x and this minus 2. This is like backwards foiling or backwards distributing. And that's how you factor a trinomial with a coefficient other than 1. Again, really easy to check. So if I wanted to do this, I would just take 3x times 2x, that is 6x squared. The outside would be 3x. The inside would be negative 4x. That makes negative 1x, good. And then negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. So I did factor it correctly.